Have you ever tried describing a Lego piece to someone only to realize how ridiculous you sound? Can I get one of the two long flat thingies? No, the other flat thingy, the flatter one. Well, every Lego piece has an official name, all 50,000 of them, and trust me, it's a lot worse than you think. Take this piece for example. How would you describe it? I bet you never would have come up with flower with 3.2 shaft 1.5 hole number 1, but somehow someone working at Lego did. If you can't tell already, I don't think their naming system is very good. Let me tell you why. First of all, a big problem I have is adding the number whatever on the ends of a lot of pieces to differentiate them. That's boring. Yeah, it does help give them all unique names, but why not use an adjective to describe how it's different from other similar pieces? Because if you ask me to give you plant with 3.2 shaft number 3, with numbers 1, 2, and 4 sitting in front of me, there's no way to tell which one you want. Try and guess which one is the right one. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that wasn't actually 5 seconds, but you were wrong anyway. It's none of them. Also, can someone tell me why there's 2 pieces called plant with 3.2 shaft number 1? That's gotta be a crime against humanity. The whole point of a naming system is giving them unique names, and then they pull this on us. All you had to do was put a different number at the end of one of them. My point is, naming them by numbering them is a lazy way to name them. And I can't just criticize these names and not give suggestions, so here's how I think they should be named. Number 4 should be plant with 3.2 shaft with leaves. Number 1 should be plant with 3.2 shaft and 3 stems. Number 2 should be coral with 3.2 shaft. Number 3 should be plant with 3.2 shaft and 3 stubby stems. And the other number 1 should be plant with 3.2 shaft and knob. See Lego? That wasn't that hard. I also want to be clear that adding the number blank for some types of pieces is okay, like when there are over 7,000 of them. But when you have 5 different plant pieces and you couldn't come up with names, and you even named 2 of them the same exact thing, unacceptable. Now you may be thinking, why do you care so much? It's not that deep. Legos are a children's toy. I was a child once, and I think my child self would agree with my adult self that you're wrong. It is that deep. Names should exist for Lego bricks as a means to distinguish them from each other with minimal confusion. These names should not only be unique, but they should also make sense for the piece they describe. The point of names is not just to have a unique name for every piece. That's what the element IDs are for. Those are just numbers. The name is what gives the piece a character, a feeling, a personality that pairs well with its appearance. Moving on. This isn't really a critique, but you know the numbers associated with Lego axle pieces? Yeah, it doesn't use an actual measurement, but it's measured by Lego bricks, like how many bricks long the axle is. Most people probably knew that already, but I just found out recently and I don't know why it didn't click before. I will say though, it would be nice if it was easier to tell how long an axle is, like if there were markers engraved on it showing how many bricks long it is. Because when you're trying to find the right brick, you can at least count the studs, but for axles you have to line it up with that little picture they put in the instructions, which I guess is not a terrible solution, but I don't think it's the best solution. Next, I wanted to talk about some pieces that I came across that just have weird names. Like, these names do not make sense. Here, take this one for example. This piece is called Played 1x1M 1 Lod Tand. No, I didn't stutter. If anyone can explain the elements of this name to me, please do. I'm assuming it's a translation error and it's supposed to say plate 1x1 with 1 downward tooth or something. But how did this name become official? Similarly, there's a translation error with every piece that should contain the word rotorblade because instead they say rotorblad. Rotorblad is rotorblade in Danish, which is fine, but when 99% of Lego pieces have English names, why did some of them slip through? It just doesn't make sense. And then we get to the hats. In the beginning, Lego did a pretty good job. Admiral's hat, Hunter's hat, Magic hat, Fedora hat. Good names. Descriptive, short, elegant. But then they got a little lazy. Hat number 3, hat number 30, mini hat number 192, which is okay, considering they were adding more and more hats. It's hard to name each of them. I can understand it. Then there's the downright confusing. Suddenly, they weren't hats anymore. They were downgraded to figurehead clothing. Figurehead clothing number 3, figurehead clothing number 6, figurehead clothing number 7. Why the switch up? They're still hats. Anyone would look at these and realize they're hats. These types of inconsistencies are the main issues with Lego piece names. It brings too much chaos and not enough clarity. They also really like putting mini at the beginnings of names for pieces, mostly for minifigure accessories. And I get why. Don't go leaving angry comments. It's a mini pickaxe for a minifigure, a mini magic oil lamp for a minifigure. These are miniature versions of the real items they represent, but to a minifigure, these are perfectly normal sized items. It's not like someone will be looking for a minifigure toolbox piece and see toolbox listed and think, oh, that must be an actual toolbox. I need one for my minifigure. No, nobody's doing that. Nobody needs the clarification that these pieces are mini. The succinctness of these names is being ruined by adding an unnecessary mini in front of each of these. Next on the chopping block is the colors. Why did LEGO feel the need to create their own names for colors? Of course you have the basics, but then they hit you with the spring yellowish green and medium lilac. You can't tell me that these colors aren't just chartreuse and indigo. I genuinely don't understand why they came up with new names. It's not like there's copyright to avoid. And it gets worse. There's a subcolor under brown called medium nougat. There's bright reddish violet, and that one's actually not that bad. Still could be called bright magenta or something. And of course you can't forget cool yellow, definitely not the same as pastel yellow. This critique is obviously not that deep, like, sure, have fun coming up with names for your colors. But with some of them they're just weird, like they don't describe the colors very well. Medium nougat is not an apt description for a color in my opinion. Also, I can't forget about the pieces known as design elements. Design element is the lazy name given to pieces that don't deserve good names, I guess. These pieces have nothing to do with each other, they don't look anything alike, so why lump them all together? Yes, it's kinda hard to come up with unique names for all of these, but someone's probably getting paid just to name LEGO pieces. They could have done a better job. I could find 27 different types of LEGO pieces that are different versions of design element. This one could be called yarn ball, or this one could be called angled tube 135 degrees. It's not difficult to come up with names that describe these pieces. And now for a series of even more questionable LEGO piece names because the list just never ends. Vegetable number 3. What vegetable is this even supposed to be? A pumpkin? A watermelon? Also, this is the only vegetable piece still in circulation. There's only number 3. What vegetable even comes in these colors? Like, red? Seems like LEGO decided not to just stop at making up colors, they also had to make up foods. Animal number 148. Most of the animal pieces are named after the animals they represent, but some of them are rendered to just animal number. How degrading. This one's clearly a deer, this one's a wolf, and this one's a jackrabbit? A regular rabbit? Either way, there must be an animal that this piece was based on, so why not just name it after the animal like you did with so many already? Beam 4M with ball cup 5.9 without friction. I'm including this one because I have no idea what the specification without friction is referring to. Here's an example of a piece that does have friction. Like, why does one ball joint have friction and one doesn't? I get why some pieces like the connector peg with friction have friction because pieces snap on there and don't fall off. But with the ball joints, I genuinely don't know. If anyone is a LEGO expert and can explain, I am curious. Cup number 1006. Tell me how LEGO has conjured up over 1,000 different designs for LEGO cups over the years. There's absolutely no way they've gone over 1,000. But that still doesn't explain why the numbers are in the thousands. Gold ingots. It was really silly to name this piece gold ingot when it eventually came out in colors other than gold. There's nothing gold about these. Stick 3.2 2mm with knob and tube. Come on, everyone knows this is a LEGO telescope. Mini long sword. A bit of an oxymoron. Again, you don't need to add mini to the front of it. We know it's not a real longsword. Whip/aerial. What? Neither of those words are even close to what I've used to describe this piece. There's nothing whip-like or aerial about it. It's a pole. Basketball net with cross axle. Basketball is one word. You don't need to be a genius to realize that. Basketball net, not basketball net. Ice cream number 1. What kind of radioactive ice cream are they cooking up at LEGO? And it only comes in these 2 colors. That ain't no ice cream. Kitchen equipment number 4. It's a spoon. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of LEGO pieces that are named beautifully. But there are also way too many that just don't make sense that need to be brought to light. LEGO, if you're watching this and you need a new LEGO namer, I'm right here. For every subscriber I get from this video, an orphan LEGO brick is adopted and given a new name and a cozy home.